This is Dr. Chris's Radio of Horror, 91.3 FM, WCW in Worcester, Massachusetts, during Quarantine 2020. And during this recorded interview, I'm going to have on with me Sarah French, actress, and Joe Knetter, writer-actor, and they're going to talk a little bit about a couple of great upcoming projects of theirs and some things that they're doing online to help their quarantine and keep their sanity. Like Joe is working with Adam Green and reading off chapters from I, Survivor. Right, Joe?
Well, actually, Adam did that all on his own.
Oh, I thought that you were involved with them.
Quarantine requires we don't go together in a place, leave and go somewhere else. So,
right.
Adam is holed up solo, and I actually listened to some of it. It's pretty awesome to listen to. I mean, I'm still very proud of that book. You know, it's crazy that Adam trusted me enough to let me jump on that.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I wasn't sure if maybe you guys are doing it over Skype. I didn't think you guys are actually getting together because no one should be getting together for anything unless you go to the grocery store and there's 10, 20, 40, 50 people in the grocery store.
Yeah, right?
Well, that's not happening here. I mean,
no, everyone's, doing pretty well.
They're limiting the lines.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I drove by Target yesterday here in Massachusetts at Framingham, and the parking lot was just filled with cars. And I'm like, where is everybody?
Come on, let's, not add to the problem.
Yeah, so Frenchie, Sarah French, who I'm going to refer to as Frenchie, she has gone out a lot with her notebook, and she's really looked at when people are out and when they're at the grocery store, the peak times. She's broke it down. She's been like a little scientist.
I got it on schedule.
Have you guys been getting any B-roll film footage of downtown LA completely abandoned for an upcoming apocalypse movie?
Absolutely not, because here's the thing. When this ends, there's going to be about 7,000 of those movies.
Right.
Of which there may be one good one. But even the good one, do we really want to get through this and watch things about this? I don't think so. Maybe in 10 years.
I applaud people for wanting to be creative because, this is a tough time for everyone, especially in the entertainment industry. And, we want to be creative. So I applaud them for wanting to try something. But, I don't know if I'm going to want to watch that after going through all this.
Well, there is Corona Zombies coming out.
Yeah, which I'm sure they quickly shot like another day, a pickup day to make it about Corona. But
I'm sure. For
me, I certainly don't want to be doing that. I don't. I'm being creative. I'm writing a lot.
Good.
But I'm not doing like post-apocalyptic. I don't really like those kind of movies generally. No Corona outbreak.
Well, I am doing a post-apocalyptic movie coming up here soon. So thanks, honey.
Yeah, but that was a vampire one, and that was prior to this happening. You were casting that.
Yeah, luckily I'm working on a script right now. No, we were actually supposed to be shooting April 1st, and called Bloodthirst. Unfortunately, that got pushed back. It got postponed. Luckily, it didn't get completely canceled. But once this all gets lifted, we're going to start shooting it as soon as possible.
Are you playing a vampire or a vampire hunter in it?
I'm a vampire hunter.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Sarah and Alyssa Dowling
play
sisters.
Oh, I don't know who Alyssa Dowling is, though.
Okay, she's done a lot of
we've worked together on a handful of projects.
She was in Girl on the Third Floor that just came out, and but it's also got, I think, Costas Mandylor and
Robert Lasardo, Tara Reid, a handful of awesome people, and it's by the Mahal brothers, who I've worked with a handful of times now. They also did Art of the Dead, which actually came out. What was that? Last year, I think. Yeah. Yeah. But it's gonna be great to work with them again.
And you're also in the first, I think this is the first ever Hanukkah horror movie. Like of all the holidays out there that don't have their own horror movie yet, Hanukkah was a big one.
It was. And, it was kind of a no-brainer to me to do it because and I've said this before a lot, I love Christmas horror. But you can only really watch it around Christmas time. Mm-hmm. And the good thing about Hanukkah, at least, is it's a creepy rabbi. It's not really tied to Christmas lights, Christmas music. Mm-hmm. So I think it can be a year-round watch. And that was wonderful just because it's Sid Haig's last movie. It's Dick Miller's last movie. Those are two iconic character actors. And, to share a movie with them was wonderful. And Sarah was actually cast before me.
That's right.
You were.
Yeah.
And the movie you guys were the movie you guys were showing at Rock and Shock at your booth in a laptop was a trailer for a little film called Blind, which a lot of people seem to have really great positive reaction to. I absolutely loved the trailer when I saw it.
Yeah, it's we've never released the trailer public. I got the go ahead to show it to select people at Rock and Shock. Rest in peace, Rock and Shock.
Yeah.
And it did a festival run. We did well. We won 21 awards.
Yep.
It won Best Feature in drama, in thriller, in horror, and film noir. It just kind of cuts across all the genres. So we're pretty thrilled with that. I mean, that was a group of friends that just decided to make a movie.
And that was
we had time.
That's also with Jen Nangle.
No, Jen did Desert Moon with us.
Oh, she's on the.
We did Desert Moon right after we did Blind.
Yep.
That was Thomas Haley directing. I wrote that one. Sarah plays one of the leads along with Jen Nangle and Thomas Haley.
Oh, so much fun.
And it's a werewolf movie with Richard Grieco.
I mean, you can't go wrong.
No.
Oh, you have Carolyn Williams in Blind. I got my two actresses, my two beautiful actresses mixed up.
Yeah, Caroline. That was, how it went was, we're just a group of friends out here living in the valley, and some of us work in the industry, but it's kind of a non-industry thing. We just get together, we hang out. We're real friends, and we always kind of said, hey, maybe the right project's going to come along that we can all work on. And at that point, Marcel Walls, who directed the Blood Feast remake, he directed the upcoming Rootwood, which I'm sure we'll talk about here in a bit. He had a dream that he was shooting a movie in his house with about a blind girl and a guy kind of stalking her. And in the dream, the crew was there, everybody was there, so he wrote down the word blind. The next night, he came over to our house for a pizza and a movie, and my OCD kicked in about 10 minutes into the movie because the empty pizza boxes have to go because my OCD would make me just stare at them. So I paused the movie and I threw the pizza boxes. And during that time, he said to Sarah.
Yeah, he said, I had a dream the other night about a blind girl. And, I wrote it down and he told us the story. And then he looks over at me and then he goes, and you can play the blind girl. And I was like, what?
Yeah, and I immediately went into writer mode going, okay, this is a challenge for Sarah. This is going to be something she's kind of been waiting for, to get something she can really sink her teeth into. And 5 weeks to the day of him having that dream, we wrapped production on it. We were 100 miles an hour. I wrote the script over the course of like 5 days, and we just jumped in, all of us friends.
And I was shooting another film literally right before Blind. I had to leave. And as I was leaving for the airport, Joe's like, here's the full script. So basically, while I was shooting this other film where I play the female lead called The Special, while I was filming that in the East Coast, I was learning, the lines for Blind. And it was a complete whirlwind, but I was ready for the challenge.
Yeah, to me, I wrote it as more of a drama. It's about a actress who just had her first big movie called Fogstorm. It's one of these big budget action epics, and she buys a house in the Hollywood Hills right under the Hollywood sign, where the whole back is a huge balcony and it's all made of glass. And she decides during her break to have laser surgery on her eyes because she's sick of wearing contacts and glasses, and she goes blind from it. So we pick up 2 years later as she's struggling through life. Everything she loved was cinema and movies and The View, and she has none of that. And it's her just kind of trying to pick up her life. So it's a very dramatic piece. And Sarah, it was my love letter to Sarah, and she knocked it out of the park.
Did you do your research? Could that actually happen to somebody who gets laser surgery? Could they go blind?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if there's been enough studies because it's not.
Yeah, it's relatively new because it's a new surgery in regards to science. They're thinking more and more people later in life will lose it. But there are cases of people going blind just from the surgery. Really? I can't remember who. One of the people on the crew actually had a relative that went blind from it.
Jesus Christ, that's terrible.
No, it could be a possible real thing, and it's scary. And playing that part, wow, it was it was a challenge. I mean,
well, it's a good thing you decided to go. It's a good thing you decided not to go method acting, get the surgery done yourself, just to see how it would work for you.
No, but she did. Her and Caroline and Marcel spent a day with our friend Kevin, who's also in the movie. He plays Caroline Williams' husband in it. He actually did go blind like 4 years ago.
Oh my God.
So they spent a day with him, and it's where you really learn a lot of things. Like, the people that go blind throughout their life, they still dream in full color, and they wake to darkness, and just things like that make you really go, wow, that would be like the worst, I think, to lose for me would be vision. Although hearing's rough because I love music so much. And I love hearing you fake orgasms, and I don't know what I would do if I didn't have that ability anymore. I would say I'd watch you fake them, but I'm not allowed to look at you. So I mean, it's all
exactly.
Have to wear the paper bag over your head during the intimate parts. I understand.
Oh, not a paper bag. It's a pillowcase.
Oh, at least it's not a plastic bag.
Listen, it's California. We don't have paper and plastic bags.
Oh my God! Did you hear? I don't know what it's like in California, but our governor here in Massachusetts, Governor Baker, completely and utterly banned and outlawed the reusable bags because of the coronavirus. And now all the plastic bag Nazis are all sitting there going, "Oh well."
Wow. Well, that I guess it kind of makes sense because you bring the bags in.
It's supposed to live on plastic for what, like
35 years.
24
I don't
hours.
know. Nobody
like
really knows for sure. Now they're saying it's the sole of your shoe. Now it's your steering wheel. Oh, did you wash your wallet? Oh, did you wash your cell phone? Oh, did you wash your clothes? Do you wash your clothes? Do you take off your clothes as soon as you come inside? I mean, it's like every 5 minutes.
I mean, you just have to be smart and take the right precautions.
I mean, Sarah and I have been doing that for years, where we come in the house and we just strip naked.
And we just hang out naked.
And we look at each other from across the room, and
you guys
it's
should make
wonderful.
a YouTube video of that, just with like the black bars bouncing around or whatever as she walks, and the black bar like kind of just this little dot on the screen.
It would be bouncing around too, buddy. But only if I was erect, because I'm a grower, not a shower.
Well, the movie that is coming out soon is Rootwood, which is about two students hired by a Hollywood film producer to shoot a horror documentary about the curse of the wooden devil. I love movies that are about filmmaking. A movie that comes to mind that's kind of like that is Brutal Massacre. I'm sure you've heard of that, or Be Kind, Rewind.
Absolutely. Brutal Massacre is great with Gunnar Hansen, Ken Foree, and
I love
Brian
that
O'Halloran.
movie.
Yeah, Brian O'Halloran from Clerks. And then have you ever seen Be Kind, Rewind with Mo Def and Jack Black?
Probably.
Hold on, Joe. I got some bad feedback. I just want to make sure it doesn't continue picking up. Okay, try to say something.
Hello?
Okay.
Is there anybody out there?
All right, so yeah, the movie with Mo Def and Jack Black also comes to mind in terms of like movies about filmmaking.
Yeah. No, it can be fun, and I'm not involved in that one at all, other than to support Marcel and my lady Sarah French.
Yeah,
Sarah,
I met Marcel soon before we started filming Rootwood. I actually met him at Alyssa's house.
Yes.
We had Thanksgiving together, and
with the director of a Serbian film was there too, so that lets you know kind of how that night went.
It was interesting, but that's how it works over here.
Yeah.
And we just struck up a really great friendship. And soon after that, Marcel contacted me and asked if I wanted to be a part of Rootwood. And yeah, I was all for it. And it was, Alyssa Dowling, Tyler Gallant, Felissa Rose. So, it's a great cast. Rudiger, who produced Blind, also produced Rootwood. And we got Thomas Rist, DP.
Who worked on both.
Rootwood and Blind as well.
Kwame had made the monster, which is cool.
Oh, I do know Alyssa Dowling, because she was in We Are Still Here. She was one of the ghosts in that movie.
Yes, which is a great movie.
And are her eyes really like that in real life, or is she wearing contacts?
No, that's her eyes.
Yeah.
Wow, that's creepy. Kind of reminds me of what's her name from
Meg Foster.
Meg Foster. Yeah. Witches of Salem and Masters of the Universe, the He-Man movie.
Oh yeah.
No, it's real. So, what I liked about it, because I went to the first kind of test screening, and what I liked is because I'm not a huge found footage fan. I think that's a genre done to death.
Yeah, and we're gonna get, and we're gonna get it again soon with everyone running around with their freaking camera outside, going, "Look at the streets are empty." Oh.
No, everybody's filming it right now.
But the nice thing about this, it's not strictly found footage.
Yeah,
it's mostly cinematic with some found footage, mixed in.
And it's the location. It's Malibu Canyon.
It's gorgeous.
Which was beautiful.
It was shot on the Alexa.
Yeah, Area Alexa.
Yep.
Really, it was beautiful. And that comes out, I think, April 7th.
April 7th, it comes out. DVD, VOD. So a lot of streaming sites will have it. So yeah, we're really excited about that. I'm excited to see what everyone thinks, and it should be good. And now's the perfect time because everyone needs content.
Yeah, everybody's watched Tiger King by now.
No, I'm not. I've just heard. Everything I hear about it either makes me want to watch it or doesn't. I'm like, I can wait.
You have to watch it. It is
oh my God, you have
every episode keeps building, and you're like, okay, I know what this is, and then something happens, and you're like, what? It's insanity.
Wait, what? When you thought it was crazy, it just gets even more crazy in the next one. And the next one.
Yeah, just like being in a relationship with me.
I'm trying.
Exactly.
I'm trying to get through I'm trying to get through Picard. I'm trying to get through Runaways. I'm trying to. Oh, I was gonna finish watching October Faction, but that got canceled. Yeah, actually, I don't know if you guys have you guys ever actually read the comic book October Faction?
No.
Okay, so really quick, October Faction, in my opinion, was one of the best, most gothic-looking, badass comic books I'd seen in a while. Written by Steve Niles and artwork by Damian Wormwood, and it was so gothic and creepy. It definitely had like a Ben Templesmith kind of a vibe to the artwork in a way, not exactly just like his, but it had that kind of weird style to it. And I was so excited when I heard about the TV series coming, and then the TV series comes out, and it's bright, it's shiny. There's like a 3-episode plot line about a gay character and a bully, and I'm like, this has nothing to do with the comic book.
And you want that vibe. And Steve Niles is great. It'd be like doing The Crow, but have it be very colorful and happy. And
right, it was just too colorful. It was too happy. They just derailed into political correctness and political plot lines of bullying and stuff in school, and I'm like, what? Where's the plot where the sheriff is a werewolf or the cyborg? Oh, he eventually shows up. It just was terrible.
And we live in a time right now. I'm all about like art helping, the world.
Yep.
I get that, but ultimately for me, art is supposed to be your escape. Mm-hmm. And that's why I don't want to watch any goddamn Corona movies when this is over.
That's going to be tough.
But you're right. If they shoehorn that in, like I'm sure you saw the new Black Christmas.
Yes, I did.
It was so ridiculously in your face the whole time that it became almost laughable.
Yeah, I liked the idea where they were going, and then they kind of went into this whole other direction about it, about like men taking away women's power, male toxicity, and I'm just like, okay, I get that was the plot line of Captain Marvel, and that's why Captain Marvel does not hold up as the best Marvel movie you like the way you think it does. Sorry, it doesn't.
Yeah, for me it was Endgame. Like I've never seen so many men cry in a theater as I did during Endgame. Just that many years of movies to come together like that was, Sarah and I have been trying to come together for years, but I usually go first.
Oh, honestly, Endgame came out at a time for me that really hit me pretty close to home because, last year we had the deaths of like the father figure, the reuniting of the father figure in cinema or television, whether it be Tony dying in Endgame, spoiler alert, or Harrison Ford returning to reunite with his son in The Rise of Skywalker, spoiler alert, or the fact that Luke Perry died in real life and they had to kill his character off on Riverdale. I've really, as you were saying just now, Joe, about I go to the movies to escape from reality. My father died the same week as Endgame came out, and it was just like every 5 minutes I was constantly being reminded that you didn't reunite with your dad, you haven't spoken to your dad in 10 years, now he's dead, you never said goodbye, you never said I love you, he never said I love you, and I was just like, wow, thank you, Marvel. I wanted to watch a 3-hour movie to be like escaping from the reality of horrors of my life, and you just reminded me of it, of Tony meeting his dad again, and I'm like,
yeah.
And then Star Wars comes out, same thing. He reunites with his father, and you're like, come on.
Yeah.
My
Well, for you though, that you just went through a horrible thing. So you're going to have that kind of visceral reaction. You can't help but have that. For many, of course, they didn't just lose their father, so that didn't really play into their minds. But I totally get for you, and that's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
With so when does Rootwood come out? Comes out next week, right?
Yes, a week from tomorrow.
April 7th.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Frenchie.
Yeah, a week from tomorrow.
April 7th.
April 7th. So the time that this actually interview is going to air, it will be about a week after it comes out. So it should already be available for anyone to check out on Prime, you said?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what streaming it's going to be on. Definitely iTunes. I'm sure it'll be on Amazon. But it'll also be on DVD.
And High Octane's done a really good job of pushing it. It's been everywhere.
High Octane
so
is amazing.
I think it'll pop up everywhere.
Cool.
They're so great.
I think I'm on their list.
You've got other things on that's come out recently. You got Automation. Killer Robot movie.
Yes, a Killer Robot movie. That's actually on Amazon Prime right now, so you can watch it for free if you have Prime.
I do have Prime. I did see that pop up on Prime, and I thought I saw your name, but I might have been distracted with maybe something you had posted on Facebook, and my mind put the two and two together. But no, now I do remember seeing your name attached to it.
It's a lot of fun.
Oh, it really is. It's a lot of fun. We shot that, I think.
Because did you know Prime
2 years ago
links into, like, if you sign up with Prime and it's connected to any social media or email address that you have attached to you, they're going to recommend stuff to you based on people that you've interacted with, and we've interacted with each other and emailed each other, Sarah. So that's why it popped up, which is kind of weird. Yeah. Again, machines
that's
taking
why
over.
I get so much porn.
You're not supposed to see that.
So let me be honest. I'm gonna share something with you, and then we'll go back to Automation and Rootwood.
Yeah.
So when all this started, and it was like, all right, we're gonna have to be locked down. It's gonna happen, but we got a couple days. The first place I went, because we weren't gonna stockpile anything, because that's not right. You go buy your weekly shopping.
Yes.
But I went, you know what I got to get if Sarah and I are going to be stuck in this apartment for 3 months together.
Oh, Jesus. God help us all.
Then there's one thing I have to get. And what was that, Frenchie?
Remember, this is broadcasting, people. This isn't. I got
her a dildo. You can say dildo on the air.
I can say something that might be able to beep it out, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but yeah.
You can say vibrator and dildo. It's allowed.
Joe.
Okay. And cinnamon roll flavored lube.
Did he really? Yes?
Yes, he did. He did. I was like, what is this?
Okay. She's gonna need some solo time.
So you know how you guys have put out that book about like Salem, Massachusetts, your little visit you came to Salem, Massachusetts for. You guys should put out one about the sexploits of your relationship over the last 10 years and the most ridiculous things that have happened with it. I'm sure the audience is out there to read about the sexploitations of your relationship, because it's been a fun relationship for like a decade now. You guys have been together.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be a book. It would be like a series. It would be
it's been an interesting 10 years. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
I mean, I record audiobooks, and I have a series of erotic fiction audiobooks based on Sunstone. They're lesbian romantic comedies. So I'll record it for you guys. If you guys want to do your own voiceovers and everything, and we'll make it an audiobook series.
So there she was on her knees in the director's basement. I looked down at her, a gleam in her eyes, as I pulled out my wallet. See, you can play that on the air. I didn't say cock.
Well, now you did.
Okay, go on to the robot movie, because I'm not too familiar with that one. By the way, you guys are in like LA, right? Or Beverly Hills. Where are you guys located?
Yeah, well, we're in it's called the Valley.
Yeah,
we're in
North Hollywood.
North Hollywood.
Okay, so you guys familiar with RLJ Productions, I think it's called?
RLJ?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. I'm doing a podcast, one of those movie minute podcasts called Once Bitten Movie Minute. We were doing The Lost Boys, and we've switched now over to Once Bitten. And we were discussing Once Bitten, the movie with Jim Carrey and Laura Hutton. And the vampires, the Countess's mansion today is actually RLJ Productions studio.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Very cool.
Yeah,
RLJ puts out a lot of great indie stuff.
Yeah. I figured you guys probably have run into them and knew who they were, so I thought I'd bring it up to you. I actually left them a message before lockdown happened, and they said, someone will get back to you. That sounds kind of interesting. We definitely know the history of the house, so...
very cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I thought that was like so weird. I was just like, that's the Countess's mansion is now RLJ Production Studio? That's so cool.
Well, it makes sense because everything out here, you pass buildings that you may not even realize were in some of your favorite things.
Right, definitely.
Yeah.
But
right
going
when we moved out here, we did a bunch of location scouting and just checked out a bunch of movie locations throughout, LA, and it's crazy everywhere that they've shot.
But go into your robot movie.
Yeah, basically, it's a robot that takes place in he's in like an office setting, and he's, working around the office, and there's a bunch of us office workers, and something happens to him, and he kind of goes a little crazy. So he basically, he's a war machine, and none of us know that. So, and they bring him in to our office to work.
To take the jobs of people.
Yes. And then things kind of go crazy throughout the movie.
Yes.
So one of those whole, like, the robots are taking our jobs, the foreigners are taking our jobs, that kind of message.
But it's a heavy lean on comedy. There's a lot of romantic comedy, which I loved when I saw it.
Yes.
Because, I love watching you do your thing.
Romance between Sarah and a robot?
No comment. Watch the movie. It's available right now on Amazon Prime. Yes, on Amazon Prime.
I don't want to give too much away, but it's a lot of fun.
It is a fun movie. I enjoyed it. Usually I hate a lot of the stuff you do, but I liked that one.
What a way to support your partner. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, he's 100% supportive and always has been, but he tells me how it is, so which I appreciate.
I always say to her, she'll go, "What do you think?" I say, "What do you want me to answer as a boyfriend or as being truthful?" And I say it, but she's had a good run the last couple of years of I think really great projects, from Rhea to Rootwood to Blind to Desert Moon, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
So many cool things. You did what was the zombie Bridge of the Doomed last year?
Yeah, Bridge of the Doomed by the Mahal brothers, who I worked with on Art of the Dead. They produced this one as well, and they're also producing Bloodthirst.
Joe, you went in 2017 seemed to go for the triple trifecta of television appearances when you did Training Day, Twin Peaks, and Criminal Minds all in 1 year.
Yeah, I did a lot of basically just background, because it's money, it's food, and it's cool to see how the bigger things go. So there's certain shows I like that I would do what I could to get on. Twin Peaks being the number one. I grew up on Twin Peaks. So, and I knew it was filming under Rancho Rosa was the title, because of course they're not going to shoot it as Twin Peaks. So we waited and waited and waited, and we got that call the night before the last day of filming, and went and did our thing. So Criminal Minds was great. I had 7 days on that, playing a prisoner. I usually am a prisoner or a biker.
Yeah, you got that look.
Yeah, he has such a specific look. People love casting him, and he's like, and
yeah, I'll get the call. Usually I get photo picked, and they'll give me a call and say, "Listen, we want you to come in. We need a biker. We need an asshole." Like Training Day, I think I did a prisoner in one episode, and then I was a biker in the episode that had to do with wrestling, and sat like right next to Bill Paxton, a couple people over, which was great because he was awesome. It was interesting.
Yeah, Bill Paxton, Dilly.
Yeah.
So many people have died in the last year, and oh boy, this is probably not a question a subject you want to start talking about, huh?
Well, no, I'm totally fine. But do you since you happen to bring it up, we just lost the composer for The Exorcist and The Shining.
Yeah, that's a bummer, because music is what makes those movies, man.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the vision, but it's the music, which segues us back to Hanukkah, because we had Harry Manfredini do the score, which was fucking awesome.
Whoa.
It's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, Hanukkah was fun just because of, like, it's PJ Souls, it's Sid Haig, it's Dick Miller, it's Charles Fleischer.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
many great people in it.
Kane Hodder was the stunt coordinator.
Sarah, do you think you're ever going to go mainstream? Because all your productions have pretty much been, most of your productions have been independent films, but do you ever want to go into anything like super mainstream or some mainstream TV show?
Of course, that's always a goal. You know, and it's tough. It's tough to get into. I mean,
you have a look to you that, you know, you'd think would people would latch onto.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. You know, it's something that I'm working towards. And, you know, with every project I do, I try to elevate, you know, with whether, you know.
But do you think as a woman in Hollywood, time is also going to be your enemy? Terrible stereotype that we still live in with, like, you know, men in their 60s get a lot of roles, but women don't. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you're going to turn 60, but, you know.
Yeah. I mean? No, I agree. And I understand what you're saying. I don't know. Lately, this day and age, it's actually gotten better, I think, for women.
There's so many more roles now
there's a lot
for older women, but you know, the mainstream thing is tough because it's not just walking into a studio and saying, "Hey, I'm here, I want to act."
I mean, there's so many
much knowing people and connections and building up a resume. I think, like, for me, Blind is the movie that's going to elevate her and will get her some bigger stuff, because she's done some TV stuff here and there. She's done, you know, she got into SAG through that Kelsey Grammer show, and
oh right, yeah.
But you know, it's tough because you're absolutely right. For men, we can look any way we want, and it just keeps adding to our we become characters. Whereas women, it's the beauty standards are ridiculously awful. Lucky for Sarah, she has a youthful appearance. She works out. She doesn't smoke. She hikes. She does all that. So she does the right things to, you know, keep those looks as long as possible. And I really appreciate that, because it's going to be sad when I have to break up with her.
For the younger, newer model, I understand. Yeah, that does happen. What do you think is going to recover faster, the independent film market or Hollywood after this is over?
Hollywood. They've got the money. I mean, I think indies, we're going to do well with pickups right now, probably because all the digital companies are going to want to get content out because people are running out of things. But I think Hollywood bounces back pretty fast.
You don't think they're going to take that big of a hit? Or, I mean, what?
No, I think.
And don't forget,
for the
last
most part,
time
they'll be right back to productions.
The last time a shutdown like this happened was the writer's strike in 2007. How many months did that go for?
Yeah, the writer's strike was a long time.
4 months?
At least. I don't remember offhand because we were in Minnesota at that point. But yeah, I mean, I just think it's going to bounce back. I mean, there's going to be a lot of work for people out here, because I can say from a certain perspective, I think a lot of people that were on the fence out here, because LA's a hard city.
Right.
You got to be 100% committed to this. You got to know you're going to fail way more than you ever succeed. But the key is you just keep working hard. You be a good person, and you just keep at it.
Well, let me back that question up just a second then, because your thoughts mirror my own that I've stated. But what about movie theaters? How bad do you think movie theaters are going to get hurt?
They're hurt right now.
Oh yeah, especially the independent movie theaters.
I think if they can weather this, I think they're going to do well, because I think we need that. I mean, even Sarah and I have already discussed we're going to go to way more movies.
Oh, for sure.
Just because, you know, we love going to the theater anyway.
Right. And everyone's waiting for, like, you know, everything that got pushed back or whatever. You know, those movies are going to sell out. The Quiet Place 2, James Bond, the Black Widow, for God's sake, a Marvel movie.
For me, though, and I love the drive-in. I grew up on the drive-in. I saw Friday the 13th 4 like 5 times back then.
Oh wow!
But for me, it's sharing a cinema with a group of people. That is what I'm missing. I'm missing that being out. And I think for a while, when this ends, we're going to see people happy. They're going to be smiling. We're going to be treating each other well. And then I think, unfortunately, it's probably going to shift back to the way it is. At least LA will, because it's such a competitive place. But to, you know, continue what I was saying before, I think LA, we're in pretty good shape, because I think a lot of people left. people that haven't been making it, have been struggling, this might have been the push they needed to say, listen, I'm going to go do something else and leave. And while you never want to be excited that somebody gives up on their dream, if they do give up on it, then that's always on them.
All the theaters and our friends and, all that. So.
Yeah, and I think I think a lot of things are going to change in the convention circuit as well. There's going to be a vast overhaul with those, just because the number of conventions that have been canceled, either completely for the year or been pushed back, is unbelievable. And I know that is going to affect a lot of things, and just a lot of stuff is going to change going forward in terms of how properties and studios and safety. Biggest thing is going to change is going to be safety at all these conventions and all these film festivals and productions and studios and going to especially going to other countries where this this whole thing kind of started or whatever. Going to another country and then bringing something back from that country that could potentially shut down an entire industry. Is going to be heavily looked at, and the restrictions in place are going to be a lot greater. And I mean, of course, the hope is that once we get through this, they develop a way to to solve this current crisis when it comes to this virus. And like the doctor said today, that he anticipates it probably will keep coming back. But the more we learn, the more we do. And you bring up a good point with conventions, because I think conventions are going to get hit the hardest because, I've done a lot of conventions in my life. I've got to know a lot of the people that run them, and it's not nearly as profitable as people think. No, I mean, God.
And
look at us.
This is going to kill them.
Scaricon completely closed. If you're familiar with that convention company.
Yeah, I mean, all it takes is one bad year, and you're fucked. And for a lot of people, because I'm hearing all over that conventions aren't giving refunds, they're not doing this and they're not doing that, and my guess is it's probably because they've got all their money tied up into it.
Yeah,
and
but I
money's
think
gone.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're gonna have to.
That doesn't make it right.
No, you're gonna have to give a refund. I'm sorry, that's just not.
No,
cool.
And I agree. They're gonna have to. But at this point, I'm sure they're all struggling. They're not sitting there going, "Oh, we're gonna fuck everybody."
Right.
No.
They have to figure out, well, what the fuck are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And it's like, listen, if a mortgage company and a credit card company and a car loan company can say, "Hey, where can people go to support you guys? What can they find to help you to help the two of you out while you're both waiting on projects to start up again? Where can people find your books, Joe? Where can people buy prints or movies from you, Sarah?
Well, I'm you just look at my name, Joe Knetter. I'm on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, all that kind of stuff. I'm when it comes to the books though, I'm going to just go on the record and say don't buy them. I see so little from that anyway. I'm not going to make any of that. And you guys should be saving your money right now. The movies are different. People can rent movies, and depending on the deals, that goes back to the filmmaker. That leads to your movie does well, you get another one. Whereas the books are different. That I'm going to make pennies per book. So save that. If you really want a digital copy, just look me up, Joe Knetter, on Facebook, Instagram. Write me. I'll just send you a free PDF of it.
Okay.
And Sarah's not doing pictures right now either.
No, but I mean,
rent the movies on Amazon.
Yeah, you can rent them on Amazon. Google my name, you can find some stuff. But definitely check out Rootwood, April 7th. So yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
I mean, and support, the other people that may need it. Like for us, we know the musicians are going through hell right now too. We know a lot of people in bands, and they're fucked. Tours are canceled. Sarah and I are in the enviable position right now that we're okay. So, I just support art, support the indie scene. If you can buy directly from people right now, that's the best case scenario.
I've heard.
But don't waste your money on my books.
Have you heard what some people are doing? There is an online 48-hour film challenge happening for people trapped inside for the coronavirus, and they're asking I think it's happening here in New England first, but I'm not 100% certain. But the 48-hour film project people have said that because of the cancellation of a bunch of the 48 hours or whatever, they still want to see if you can get a 48-hour film done the best way you can without compromising yourself. So maybe some filmmakers live together as roommates. Maybe they're already married, they're family members. You know what I mean? It's done as a group that are already living together, so they're quarantined together. Or how about you shoot a scene and you shoot a scene and you shoot a scene, and we email it to each other or email it to the editor to get it finished and cut and ready in the next 48 hours or whatever, which I think is a brilliant idea.
Yeah, I mean, it keeps people creative, which, like, right now, that should be the number one thing, is being creative, finding, you know, like, I mean, everybody's got to eventually get sick of just sitting on the couch.
Yeah,
so, you know, create, write, paint.
Yeah.
You know, I've been reading. I've read. I'm on my 8th novel so far.
Oh my God!
And I'm still on my one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm reading and I'm writing.
I got a pile. I got a pile right here. I got to read through. I'm trying to read. Right. Who am I reading right now? I'm reading Dan Figueroaf's story, A Marvelous Life, the story of Stan Lee. So I'm hoping to get that banged out.
I'm reading Stephen King's The Stand, which is my favorite book of all time, and I thought,
which
why not?
correlates perfectly to what's happening right now.
And holy shit, the first like 200 pages are almost exact. Almost exact.
Yeah, but... and what's funny, we have the and I think it's still coming because they said it was shot and we're working on post-production now. Is The Stand, the new Stand, is coming to CBS All Access late this year.
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, that the TV miniseries, the TV shows are really where it's at right now. Like, we finally just watched all of Swamp Thing, which was fucking amazing.
Oh, so great.
It's a bummer that got canceled and didn't get to end right. But you want to support, then, you know, Amazon, iTunes, Rootwood, definitely. Rootwood's great. Automation. Look up Sarah French.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yes.
Look up the movie Rootwood. Look up Automation, now currently on Amazon. Blind
Hanukkah is next month, I believe. Mm-hmm. It got pushed back to next month.
Cool. Well, Hanukkah will be out, and then Blind will be out hopefully later this year as well.
Yeah, we should have news for you guys soon in regards to Blind.
Awesome.
Yeah, and we're constantly pimping, you know, our workout and friends' workout as well on our social media. So Instagram, Facebook, all that.
Awesome. And you guys can be found on Twitter as well at...
Yes.
No Twitter for me.
No Twitter for Joe. Sarah, where are you on Twitter?
It's Scarlet_Salem.
Scarlet_Salem. Thank you, both of you, for coming on the podcast. So I'm sorry. Pause real quick.
You got excited when you were saying thank you for coming on me. That's what you were going to say.
Oh my God, I got to edit that out too. This might not air for. Well, I have all the time in the world to edit this. Actually, what am I saying? I was going to be like, oh wait, I can't edit until I get out of work.
So you should have gave me a heads up that language was an issue. Anymore, almost all of them are.
Trust me, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 timestamps I have to go and look for and beep
Joe,
you out.
They're pile, Joe.
Okay,
that's a fucking lot of them, man.
All right, hold on. All right, pause real quick so I can do the outro correctly. Thank you both for coming on Radio of Horror once again. It's been a few years, but I've seen you every year at Rock and Shock. I know Kevin Barbary has something brewing for a new version of Rock and Shock. I'm not going to speculate what that is. I don't want to hear comments about it because we don't know and you don't know, but I want everyone to know that there is still something coming from Kevin Barbary later this year, possibly next year, for a new horror convention. Hopefully we'll see Sarah and Joe back at it again because they've been to every Worcester convention since, I believe, the very beginning almost. And
we missed the first one.
You missed the first one. So you've been on almost every single Worcester horror convention that there was. So whatever Kevin has brewing in the woodworks, I'm sure will be exciting, and you guys will hopefully be able to come back for that. But even if not, and hopefully you announce that maybe you're going to take a trip out to Salem and for Halloween or whatever, to get out of the house, to get out of California, having been trapped in there for at least a couple months at the point that this is finally over. So if you do, let your fans know if you're going to do maybe something in Salem, which would be fantastic as well.
Most definitely.
Cool. Thank you guys both for coming back on the show, and check out their video. Check out both of Sarah's movies on Amazon Prime now.
Thank you, Chris.